if your first sexual experience was with an older woman, please raise your hand.
I mean, I'm young for
I'm not asking.
At first time, like everyone's like, we're saying back. Oh, you talking about like intimate, like
Your first sexual experience, and I understand like a lot of you guys are just come on, guys.
for when we lost our virginity.
Yeah, your first sexual experience.
wait, I didn't even have sperm, yeah, bro. Experience. I mean, yeah, that counts as losing your virginity, but like some people be saying like you get head and it's not losing your virginity, right? That's
The first time you penetrated a woman, was she older than you?
no.
Okay. Your first, okay, I'm asking this question because the other day we were talking about, the other day we were talking about, rape. And everyone was just like, okay, we're talking about rape, talking about, like, rape culture. I'm not culture, but rape and just the whole topic around rape and how why women are coming forward with, rape. And we're talking about just the whole movement of Me Too and everything else and how rape can be considered now versus back then and just moving forward, how it's going to be seen. So we're talking about men and rape. And we're talking about men that had been sexually assaulted by women. And this guy was like, well, a woman can sexually assault a man. And I turned around and I'm like, yes, they can. And I'm like, okay, how can you say that? It was like, well, if a woman comes up to you and they say they offer you sex, you just have to take it. That's just right off the bat. And we're talking about Pumzi. And like, we're talking about Pumzi and his whole, I'm laughing because it's like, you really think about the situation. It's like, wow, like, this is kind of sad. And people just, they laugh about it. But it's like, this is something that we really do have to talk about because this is our little boy. This is still a little black boy that we also have to protect a little black girls, but also a little black boys. They're going to be the one going out there with all those black girls. And they're also, we're talking about breaking generational curses and breaking patterns of heartbreaks and all of that. But that comes from healings on both sides, not just on black women, but also black men as well. So like, we're talking about having older women taking advantage of little boys and them not realizing that the trauma and the effects that it does in their brain and how they proceed on to see a woman and that how that affects their relationship. So I actually like, you can tell me yes or no, but like have a sexual or any type of experience. Oh, actually what I would really like to ask you is what had been the biggest lesson you've learned from a woman? Honestly. Like
Before
I'm sorry.
so I know there's a lot of layers to it, but I will simplify it, right?
So sorry,
So maybe you guys can agree and disagree with me here for sure. But my older brother lost his virginity when he was 13, right? A lot of men kind of in my generational timeline were also generally around that time frame. So, the 13-year-old dude losing his virginity to a woman and being that sort of experience often ends up being like an older woman. But what that really does is like from a young age, right? And even if, because I didn't lose my virginity at 13, I lost my virginity after high school personally. But what that did is like even when I was 13, right, and my brother was talking to me, had his 13-year-old dude who lost his virginity at 13, and I'm like 8 years old listening to these stories. I'm just like, oh wow, like these are the wonders of manhood, or whatever the case is, right? But like whatever it is, and like I can't speak for anybody else's experiences, but there was a lot of men as I was growing up, because like I said, I was a little young for my age, so especially in my grades, like I was probably like a year younger, 2 years younger than a lot of like my classmates. So I was hearing a lot of these stories of like colleagues and my peers or whatever who was in their virginities around like 13, 14, 15, 16. And like those kind of like gear up a certain mentality when it comes to us, I guess like engaging with women. So I guess in a lot of senses, like I'm not saying that prods you for um being with an older woman at all. What I'm saying is it makes it so that you're getting yourself ready faster for an experience that a lot of women at that age, or the women who are ready for that experience, are a little older than you.
And
So the women who are ready for that sort of experience are now 13.
very
They're the 15, 16-year-olds, right?
But you're building yourself up for it.
And you're already 10, 12, like, yo.
so when we talk about
They were the piece of like.
when I talk about older women, I'm not talking about like being like 7 and being 11 and they're like 15. I'm talking
Come on,
about I've heard
actual
like, a lot of
adults.
stories. And I know like there's like I said, like I moved past this question because I'm trying to go on time, but I'm talking about like women who are like much older. They're like 30s, they're in their 20s, they're thinking of into like much younger little boys. Another reason this video is how you can start mental health without learning is because a lot of men in the black community, a lot of men in general, struggle with the idea of like sensuality. They struggle with the idea of just being open to like seeing the world in just like different colors. Or I'm not saying like, you know, you believe in what you want to believe in, you do what you want to do. I always tell people like, you live your truth, that shit not gonna bother you.
Right.
You just do what you want to do. And if it does bother me, I will gladly get up and remove myself and say thank you very much, enjoy your day. But I'm never just gonna be like, yo, like, shut the fuck up, get away from me. But there's like, I feel like a lot of men who do show this type of like hatred, I do tend to ask this question like, if you hate it so much, then why can't you just get over it and move for it? But you've seen such attention on it. And there has been time where like your closest homie makes a move on you. Like, how do you react to that? If that
Never got that one, bro.
I mean, I was recalling because it was like one of those weird moments as an elementary kid. Because like I still don't know like how you can make that decision, but I get like if you like somebody, but how do you know if you really like somebody at that age? So, you know, I had like a little crew. I would say like everybody would say like you had a kid that you would go play basketball with, play football with, you know, and that became like a kind of a crew. And for me, it kind of came into a point where one of my boys at the time was like, yo, like, I feel like guys. I'm like, hold on, what? Like, as a kid, like, you like, what? Aren't you supposed to like girls? And it's like, in my mind, men's supposed to like men, or women's supposed to like men. And I think it was like at that point where I was confused because I had to like ask myself, is I even like allowed type of thing? Is that like even possible? But the more I start to like talk to the person as we grew up and start to understand each other, I just was like, okay, I can see how we are different, but also how we are the same people. Love is love. Love doesn't have no color. It doesn't have no gender. It doesn't have no full understanding. You love people for who they are. And for me, my interaction was like he was trying to identify himself, but at the same time make sure if he was. And I was able to kind of make sense of it with him, but at the same time, you know, the encounters became awkward. Like, you know, some things were just like, you know, totally left field. And I was like, listen, like, if you're gay, you're gay. Just, we don't, you know, make me uncomfortable because I'm trying to help you understand yourself. That way you can be yourself. At the same time, know that there's boundaries right there as a friend. But I get what your question is too, is like really understanding like that engagement or knowing where to draw the line. Is that what your question is?
yeah, because it's like as like straight men, like, do you have like another question? Is just like not to just raise your hand. As straight men, do you guys have like gay men who are your friends? Yes, and we all like we're like, yo, like this is my friends, my people. Because I know a lot of men who are just like, especially black men, who's like, yo, like I'm so uncomfortable with this, like, you know what I'm saying? And when I hear things like that, I'm just like, and I always ask people like, what it could start with gay? Like,
Yeah, sometimes just posting them on.
you know what I'm saying? Like, what so what's gay?
My
Like,
brother's gay, so that's the reason why he got kicked out in the first, which is funny. So yeah, like that's like my parents are very religious, very Haitian.
Old school, yeah.
Like, extremely like Haitian, capital H, capital A. Like, incest. You feel me? So that's something that I like. It was almost I was like, I had to. I won't say that I had to, but I had to quickly kind of like, yeah, I had to quickly relate to that sort of that identity, that lifestyle, because that's my brother.
Yeah, how did you feel as a brother? Like,
So I will say, like,
did you already know, or like, did he tell you? And like, when?
no. So here's the thing, like, right, because we're brothers. So I'll growing up, we used to tease each other for some dumb shit, and I feel like if I knew he was actually gay, I probably wouldn't have teased him for all that shit that I was teasing.
No, you didn't know.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, did I kind of know? Like, I mean, I was making jokes about it when he was younger.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's all like, there's, you know, that's also how I feel like, you know, people don't necessarily make that choice. It's kind of like something that is revealed slowly through truth.
Right.
You know, you don't know. I don't know. Like, you know, so if there were clear signs that I was able to pick out as a fucking 7-year-old kid and make jokes about, then maybe he didn't make that choice consciously. Maybe there were certain things or certain parts that were unconscious in that decision. And, you know, I'm not going to fault her for decisions he didn't necessarily make, but she had to discover. So I shit like that. Like, yeah, outside of that, like, how did it make me feel? Like,
Yeah, but
I would say it made me feel like I had to be a lot more present and figure out how he really felt first, right? And be more supportive, because a lot of people clearly didn't understand him. I knew my parents would understand him. And I'm also very familiar with the feeling of parents not understanding you, as someone who had a wild dream of starting a weed business in a Haitian family. So it's like, I don't have that luxury of saying, nigga, you're weird, because I'm weird, right? So like shit like that. Like, I'm already kind of like a black sheep, so I can't look at this nigga like he's darker than me. But something, you know, for real, like, 'cause that's really what it'd be. And it'd be weird, like, when in Haitian culture, like, or even any culture, right? Any black culture, any Caribbean culture, any immigrant culture. It's just like, what levels of things are like acceptable and unacceptable.
You just crack in my house, my mom.
Right. So it's like, that's the same thing with my house. So it's just like all these things. And it's like, weed is crack, but homosexuality is demonic.
It's the devil. You're
Right?
Yeah.
Or like whatever, like however people want to place that. It's weird, right? Because there's no sliding scale. It's really how people want to feel. Like, that's really kind of the truth of it. It's how people want to feel. So how is it represented in your household?
So for me, you know, my mom, Trinity family, I think every household is different. Everyone's, you know, house is built a little differently based off, like, you know, if it's like your first generation family, kind of second generation family, the trends start to be more understood and things are more comfortable as we start to, you know, grow in society as well as our families. So for me, I kind of understood it because, like, my aunt, my godmother is gay. So I understood it from right off rip. She looked different. She talked different. Just, you know, she just had her Thomas, you know, boy, you know, style. So I know she was different. And that's because it was introduced to me at a young age. So it's me with my mom, you know, her working, she grinded, you know, she was raising me with my other two siblings at the time in a one-person household, one-parent household. Dad was in and out of the picture, but like the point is like sometimes as kids, you absorb so much, and sometimes you can't make sense of it right away. You'll understand it probably later on in life. But that's why I think it's so important to introduce things to kids, but don't force it upon them. I think if you force an agenda, force a certain understanding on people, like you have to be raised like this, you have to go to school for 12 years, and then after school, you go to college, get this like perfect job. And I think that's just making a lot of people uncomfortable where they can be honest with themselves as well as with their family. That's where I was also tapping into, because I think us as black men as well as black people, we want to please, we want to be successful, we want to be the statistic difference in our whole community as well as just the whole black community. I just don't think like we as people are able to, or we're not fully comfortable in our own skin sometimes. Because yes, sometimes we're going to be in a room or in a position where we have to answer when we don't feel comfortable right at there and then. But sometimes it's good to just be present. I think that's what you were trying to say too. Like, you understand that your brother as well as just your family are on two separate pages. You know, you want to be there for your brother, but you also got to understand as your parents, like, yo, they felt disrespected, your brother got to address them right. You know, if you got something to talk about, you know, address the conversation the right way.
this question is for everyone. Just say yes or no, right? And really think about it. Because so we talk about black men and the pressure that black men feels and the pressure that men in general just feels, not just from society but women, parents, the world, right? So I always ask men this question because it's something I see on social media all the time that even what's it did Karen Serio talked about was a man is never truly loved until he has money, right? So talking from what you were just saying about like feeling comfortable and being happy and being appreciated, all that,
Right.
being corrected, right? So, and also showing up for people that we love and being there for people and lending all these type of hands and doing this acts of kindness and love and true kindness. Because you don't just go out your way for people. As men, as individuals, you all have a vision of what it means to be loved, correct? Yes?
Correct.
You all have
What
like
it
an
means to be loved,
Yeah,
or
like an
what it
eye.
means to love.
what it means to be loved. Like for you individually, like for me personally as a woman, as an individual, I have like, I'm like, okay, if I have this feeling like, damn, I've been loved before. I have this vision, this checklist in a way of like,
Which is certain.
like
You want to share your notes?
different type of love that someone can give me. And I'm
Like, so you're talking about like a real understanding of your love language.
yes, like you are love
Appreciate
language.
of how like
Someone has demonstrated like
right.
your love language. Have you ever felt love? That type of like understanding of love. And like
Have you, is that the question you're asking? Or
Yeah.
you saying, do we have like the
Have
picture
No,
of Black
have
Panther?
you as a man, think about it mentally. Have you as a man have received that type of like
That's not what
understanding
she's
of
saying,
your
though.
type
She's
of
not asking that when you say,
She's not
asking if you've ever formed love because
Okay, so you have a love language.
love. It's two different things.
Okay. You have a love language, right?
Yeah.
We all have a love language that we all speak through. It is physical touch, quality time, acts of services, something that just makes you feel warm. Something that like when you're going through shit, you can just go back in that moment and be like, damn, I definitely know this person loved me. I definitely loved by this person. You as an individual, you as a man, have you ever felt that? Have someone have ever demonstrated that type of love for you? Like, have someone created that? Have someone ever created that type of love for you? That space, that safe space for you, that you need, where you can just like be you, where you can just be loved, where you can just be like, this is what I needed. This is exactly what I'm gonna go back to in the moment where I feel low.
and nothing's attached to it, huh?
Nothing is attached to it.
God damn.
I'm talking about.
God damn.
I'm talking about like, because when people think about like connection and intimacy, they automatically connect it to sex. It doesn't have to be sex.
Or transactional.
That's my mother.
Yeah, but
How after
that's why I want.
I moved out my parents' house. Like I said, like they kind of kicked me out,
but really it was like I said, arrogance and ignorance, right? So it's like I moved out, and I was like, "Fuck it, like I got the bread, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, like well, whatever." But like 2 years after I moved out, I was mad depressed. Like I was so sad, and it was like it wasn't like nothing wrong. I was paying my bills, like I had my apartment for 2 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like technically at 19, I was doing shit that whatever. But still, like, I was sad. And I was like, my brother's in college at that point. Like, he was doing good at that point, right? Like, he was in college. And, like my little sister is in school and she's like 7 years older. Yeah. And I'm just like missing my entire family. Like, I'm just on my own. And I'm just hustling. It was sad. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, after a year, 3.5, I was just like, yo, bro, like, I don't think I could do some more. Like, like, my mother was really like I was on the phone with her all the time. Like, if it wasn't, like, yeah, I don't know. So, that's
I could relate. No, I could relate. I mean, I think
nothing at all. We're just gonna go with the fact to say like, yes, but wait, why? And then
I think I have like a understanding your question, but yes, I have. You know, I had that special someone. You know, intimacy as well as just like a family member that was important to me. My grandmother was that person. She passed away 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, actually. In 2019, April 27th. I was actually going to go surprise her to see her and actually show her up on her birthday. And you know, her birthday's the 28th. She passed away the 27th. And, you know, I was there for like a day. So I was there at the 26th and just, you know, she was dying. I had a spiritual connection and understanding that something was missing. And I should have conveyed my feelings of how excited I was to see. I'm going on the tangent, but the root of the question is like, yes, I have. And that was my grandmother. And yes, I've had that intimate, you know, connection with somebody at the past, in my past.
but
Sad for your loss.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, Lilio.
I feel like when there are just emotional pictures, they just melt in general. But I don't do relationships. And so it's like I always have both in a way because I know I believe I think monogamy is going to be not bad. But it's something I'm trying to figure out that. God damn, bro.
And then this real,
You should have been manipulated.
that's true.
As a shit, man. As a shit. Respect, bro. For sure.
when it comes to understanding love, it's a complicated person because people grow up in completely different. Like I don't know how you grew up. I mean, would you mind sharing a little bit about how you grew up? Did you grow up with like broken parents? Like telling them what?
That exactly right. Yeah, totally different. Wow.
Oh shit! Well, that's how it is.
This is different. Like I was born in late, like
I see.
and born in was 84. I was like raised in both. I was raised in a fit in the Maori side and CD. So I was like a combination of lating kind of let's say. Really didn't different. In fact, it's only like the master sec.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
You feel me? I was down there in DC, so good.
Shout out to Haiti.
Yeah,
Okay, well, they got that okay.
yeah, sure.
Moving Gabe, would you say yes or no?
Well, yes, I mean, like, obviously with, like, family, you like my mother or my grandmother, and then, you know, someone outside of the family. I had it once, but, you know, fuck that up. If you the money or her, and I chose the money.
I
Shouldn't be.
Sad.
Because
Sometimes it takes one mistake.
But I was young. That's the thing. I was young. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're young, you know, you should, like, experience the world and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
You should experience loss when you're young. Fact.
Lost.
then that.
I mean, like, you know, if you lose a love when you're young, at least you start to realize what the priorities are. Like, I feel like if someone really, really loves you, I guess, like, this is an experience that, right, like yourself, you said you did have someone who loved you, right? And you knew that they loved you, right? You were young then. So if you're placed with that decision again between love and the money, ooh, or big love. Exactly.
All the time, 100%.
100%. So that's exactly it right there. It's like going through those experiences, you had to experience loss in a sense to really understand what you're losing, or else it's just like you never really appreciate it. But I feel like any guy could relate to that. They just fuck shit up all the time.
So would you say yes, no?
For
The love question.
you know, I mean, it's cool. I think it's very transactional. Family members, you know, but it is what it is.
It's relatable.
Okay. So going on what Ollie said, we're just gonna kind of just move. There's boom boom. What has been going back to the question and here? What has been the biggest lesson a woman has? You have heard from a woman. A woman has value, and we can just It's like it's lesson. It's like
Focus on yourself.
I didn't know an incident.
Focus on yourself.
Just say that. Focus on yourself. What else?
That's it. I will come to you. Focus on yourself.
Okay. Patience. Humility. What about you?
Shit, I don't know if I got mad lessons, but you said. I would say for me, it's probably just I love myself. I guess I don't know, not always putting out for other people first, but up from the That's probably it.
This next question. If society were to put the same pressure that they put on women on you guys, how would that reflect on you guys? How would that see yourself differently?
I'm OnlyFans making millions right now. Making money. Because it's not the same. I was about to say, like, it's not so, like, it might seem different, but he makes a point, like, whereas if we were women, we're not dealing with less pressures, but we're dealing with a different set of pressures. And okay, that might be a little ignorant because I don't show all the full pressures, and I will completely I'll acknowledge that. I'll acknowledge that as I say it, because I understand that I don't understand all the pressures, but what I do understand is that there's a lot of unspoken pressure when it comes to manhood, society,
That's what
2022 and a whole bunch of other shit, right? They can say it's 2022, so I gotta know everything about like everything. Yeah, right. The information is free, so I gotta be up on everything financial. Or like I can't be slacking this and see that. And just because that's me doesn't mean that's another person who I don't know may not have a fucking regular active phone plan and shit like that. So it's like he can't get access to information the same high speed that I do, whatever the case may be. So it's like, how is someone expected to guide themselves on everything financial, spiritual, emotional, mental, and all this extra shit when they don't even have certain levels of things like, you know, when it comes to the basics.
What do you feel like is the biggest thing women are like, or others are putting on to the woman right now?
Andrew Johnson, I think it has a lot to do with presentation.
Okay.
I mean, whether there's beauty standards in terms of manners and etiquette, or, you know, even just attitudes, that hard the way they love people, or the way they interact with people, whatever the case is, right? I'm not trying to ignore that, but I feel like a lot of, and even like I said, like now the concept and conception and idealization of women is evolving. So like women are being seen in a different light, right? Like I said, especially black women are, like, this is numbers too. Like they're earning more money over black men, like across the board.
Men are still high paying.
Men are still high paying. That feel the equivalent of their working time, for the amount of time that they're going to school for, at least. Like they're making more money.
I mean, women are graduating college more than men for sure.
And so out of those degrees, right? The people who are placing jobs faster versus the men who are placing jobs at on same degrees, where we're technically getting paid more. While women may not be working as much as men, right? So the dollar cost average will still like give men a favor. Women are literally making more for a lot of the same work.
Statistically, yeah, sure. I think the question, Dan, right?
What about you? Do you feel like it's like you were let me be on and how?
No, man, sure.
What kind of strength are we talking about?
Everything, brother. They're smart. You know what I'm saying? I've seen plenty of youth workers carry mad.
You feel like he's trying to paintbrush the whole fucking wall.
I'm trying to break
But all means,
my sister. What tell? She wears something you need.
Chris Lackton, my man. For sure, I understand duality for sure, but like, don't tell me because 5% is doing something. It's the fucking world, bro. Don't do that. Like, let's be specific about what we talk about. Right. Just because a small amount of people are doing something does not generalize you. Does not give you a way to generalize the whole situation.
Okay.
Never does. Right. So like perspective is understandable.
Nah, I still want to give him that for sure straight, and he still stated like smarts, like he did that. I especially didn't know being sister is still.
But ask me a question about if society were to pressure women the same way that society pressures men. The women are strong.
Bro, I just asked
Like
when
what
what
is weight right now? Whatever you see in
bro. The only question I asked is what weight. That's the only question I asked.
All I'm saying is, in general, like if society were to pressure women, can they handle the pressure that the same society that
No.
men?
No.
Yes.
No. I think that would be the case. And that's not it's just not being over masculine or over it might be two things, bro. Lord, understand majority of the men that fucking dies right now, bro, is because of the jobs that we do.
Other shorties put in.
I'm not saying women don't do as much, or I'm not saying any of that at all, bro. Bro, I have a mother, I have sisters, I have cousins. Understand me, bro. But like, I also understand the man's role in society. I'm not trying to neglect or overshadow a woman's job, bro. But I also want to be specific about what they do. And mind you, I'm not saying they can't do whatever the fuck we're doing at all. But what I'm doing, I'm making sure they know, like, that fucking doing you today, bro. Over here listening. I'm like, why? We're here right now. It's so much easier for you to like, oh, you want to move this? But it's not because you can't, but it's why would you? You're doing something else. You're literally making sure we have this conversation. Why do you want to live, talk, do all this shit when we have energy as later? I mean, that we won't. And the great moment is not a thing. Self-sufficient is a thing. I could never be independent. You will always depend on something, bro. If I'm a man independent, I will depend on the government. As a business owner, I will depend on something else. Customers, right? Self-sufficient should be the words, not independent.
Right.
But you know,
I definitely understand what you're saying.
I'm chilling. No, I understand what you're saying. I think and I don't want to speak for you, Gabe, but I think what Gabe is saying is that women are strong as a whole, for sure, and as well as he's not generalizing, he's not picking out a certain group. I think he's just saying, so the question that we need to is that women being oppressed, or is that the right one?
You know.
I think we have to make sense of the question itself, because it is us overthinking it. We're not being simple as men are simple. We're trying to make it more complex than the actual question itself. So men and women are two different species. Men and women use the bathroom differently. Men and women process things differently. Men and women grow differently. So I think we need to understand is that there's always going to be a difference, but know the fine line of the difference as well, where we can understand each other, come together. And if it is, opposite sex or the same sex, that's a different conversation for another group of people to touch up on. If you have knowledge upon it, share it. If you don't, then don't speak up on it. But I think the problem is that we want to feel included in certain things or feel included on certain topics. It's okay that you don't know. It's okay that you're not comfortable with saying what it is that should be said or not should be said. But to the whole question itself, I think women and men deal with different pressures. We as men need to identify our own pressures and not try to identify what their pressures are, because we're speaking for them. We can't speak for them.
But do you think you could handle it if you were put under the same microscope? Yes or no? Yes, no, yes, no.
So that's another thing he just said,
Yes, but
literally, I don't know the microscope that we're judging with. Like that microscope could either burn paper or kill an ant. You know what I'm saying? Like those are two different microscopes. That's either a spyglass, literally same microscope. No, that's a spyglass versus a microscope. That's an eyeglass. That's a microscope is different than an eyeglass. It's a microscope.
Are you happy right now? No, currently, are you happy?
I'm a little happy.
Wait, let's start
with Clark.
Clark. Clark is very quiet. Quiet. Clark is quiet, y'all. He's bored.
I know I had a couple of stuff to say, but you got to having that later speech. I just spoke on my boy. I'm like, this that's the night of home. It's still in top. Hard to understand.
Are you happy?
Not happy.
Are you content?
It's not no I but I was how to get I think it's something like my emotions. I feel happiness like it becomes and goes is horrible, but on the fair, I suppose it into not so yeah, but I did with it. But I'm not happy. I feel like I'm exhausted. I feel that even like sometimes like I do so much I don't know. So you guys would talk about something anything who was you? Yeah, how you do so much anything different besides like a different breath and got like step back. I like to know that what happened. Something.
Yes, you did. Sure, definitely.
Am I happy? Obviously around perfect. Yeah, the conversation find happy. But like, right now I'm happy and like whatever it is. Before that we but in general, scoop question on. Keep proton. Smart. But yeah.
I'm happy. I like that.
Can that's like the happening?
Yeah, fucking the river.
What are you happy?
I mean, I'm content, me as a achiever as well as just, my natural born nature. I mean, I think a lot of things right now in my life are making a lot more sense, a lot more clearer. So for me, I am content. Am I happy generally? Yes, I'm generally happy. Am I happy today? Yes, I'm happy. And as well as what I think there's more for me to learn and grow up on, yes.
For that, dude.
Well, this was different. I didn't expect this at all, to be honest. That was a whole left curveball. But no, I'm happy. I mean, I'm breathing, There were a lot of that thing going around the world and shit like that, if it's Brazil or Haiti or Trinidad or Jamaica or whatever, I feel like there's a lot out of, I'm content with life. I feel like there's more to improve in life, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta be positive, I guess. Don't be citing a negative event, it's the universe and shit. I look up, keep your head up. Start with it.
Always, and you have to.
Yeah. I always say this, sunshine and every day. So with that sunshine, you gotta look forward and focus on it. So there's nothing to be sad about when there's something to be rest about.
How is it? I don't want to be it out. I was with the bodies. I signed. I was almost going that way. My mom always said, "Si ça donne un effet, what soup?" But I wish. Basically, like if the sun comes out,
rises.
if the sun rises, you're breathing, you're rich. That's literally what she always said to me all the time.
The sun rises, you get out of the
And what's up there?
So,
Really to the black and white with the sun.
so there's still finished video.
And every single day too hard.
So first, I wanted to say thank you guys for coming on here and just talking about and just being honest and just being part of this conversation. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I love each and every single one of you guys. You guys know that. I hope that this world never break you. I hope you guys understand that that's our thing. You guys are pharaohs. Sebastian, I call you this all the time. What do I call you? But I hope you guys really do know that this world may be ugly, may be hard, but I hope you find. I hope you create soft places for you guys. And to end this video, there is a lot going on in this world, and this message is just to all the men, not just the men today on this couch, but to all the men that may be watching this video. There's a lot going on in this world. While men has ruled for forever, please understand that you come from a woman. While you create this physical world, we are the bridge between this world and the next. You cannot continue this world without us. You cannot continue your mission without us. You cannot mistreat us and then continue. The way you treat the next man, the way you treat the next woman is also parallel to the way nature treats us. I really want not just this man, but every man, every woman to understand that there is one God, there is one King, there is one Creator. As much power, as mighty as you think that you are, while there is a God living inside of you, there is one Gamet. Understand that you are just one man, and you will fall if you continue on destruction. And I talk about mental health because we have to get better so we don't continue towards destruction, but we need destruction to heal. Understand that wherever we're heading, it seems really dark and it seems very sad. I ask you again to remember that you come from a woman, and you start war on a woman, you start war within yourself. And no war that you start within yourself, you will ever win. Please understand that. And please understand that the war you start within yourself is more destructive than the war you start within anybody else. Focus on your mental health, guys. Thank you.